my name is Jen and I'm a licensed athletic trainer, and today we're talking about functional range conditioning, particularly for the lower extremity. I'm going to introduce you to some variations of CARS, which stands for Controlled Articular Rotations. So the kicker here is that first word, controlled. When we perform these different exercises, we want to be mindful that we're working through the entire range of motion and we're really putting effort into every little millimeter of that rotation. So starting with the feet, there are a variety of ways that you can do this. So for the interest of this video and the lower extremity focus, I'm going to start here. And what we can do is lift the toes, start there, and then drop them back down. Lift the toes, spread out the toes really wide, and then release them back down. Raise up the toes, here we are again, and lower back down. Now this time, let's raise all of those toes and then slowly begin to set them back down. Lift the toes and slowly lower. Can you lift the big toe? Can you lower it? Takes a little bit of practice, but it reestablishes the connection between the brain and whatever body part that we're working. So here are our toe CARS. Toes are spread, toes relax, lift the big toe, drop the big toe. You can play around with how you structure that, whatever makes you happy, but just move the toes. With the ankle, I'm going to set up with taking the arm underneath the crease of my knee so that I have some space here to move. And with the ankle, it's going to appear to look like just ankle circles. But what I'm really looking to do is work through the entire range of that motion, and I'm controlling it. I'm not just being passive. I'm working towards all of that eversion, ankle dorsiflexion, inversion, and then plantar flexion, and switch up the directions. Big circles, slow and controlled, hit every millimeter. Right? So we'll go in both directions, no set number, it's just take you a few moments to get through. And that is our ankle. We'll repeat it on the opposite side. So we got our toes, we got our ankle. Let's move up to the knee. Again, variations of how we can get this done, but for today, I'm gonna show you a variation for knee CARS seated. So setting up the same way, using the arm right underneath the crease of the knee, I should be able to flex and extend, so you can see from a different angle here, but I can't fully extend because my arm is blocking it. That is purposeful. So in this variation of our knee CARS, the ankle, we're just gonna flex and just hold that position because all of the activity is here in the knee. So you can see my toes. What I'm gonna be doing here for this exercise is externally rotating and internally rotating. Externally rotating and internally rotating. So again, those terms, if they're new, all that is this lower leg bone is rotating out and rotating in. The knee itself is not moving. Right? So if we set that up, I'm gonna turn the lower leg out. Then I'm gonna turn the lower leg in. Lower leg out, lower leg in. Now, let's try extending through the leg. Now, I'm not gonna be fully extended, right? So I'm going to turn the toes out, turn the toes in, turn the toes out, turn the toes in. Let's flow it out. So I'm in knee flexion, turning my toes out, gonna work to extension, turn my toes in, bend the knee, external rotation, extend, internal rotation, bend, external rotation, extend. Now let's switch it up. I'm gonna stay externally rotated, toes are out. Now I'm gonna flex, turn the toes in, extend, toes out, flex, toes in, extend. We want to work both sides here, and that's going to work on our knee mobility. So our knee does more than just bend and flex, okay? It also can rotate, and it's a really important aspect of our range of motion, and more often than not, we don't address it. So add some knee articular rotations here, and then we'll move up to the hip. Hip is challenging. Hip is challenging because the hip rotates. If the hip doesn't rotate, is it really a hip joint? It can function because our body is always going to make ways to work, to complete the task that you're presenting it with. But is it functioning in the most efficient way or the most functional way? So we have to work all the rotation of the hip in order to really condition that joint. So in other words, conditioning the hip or joint conditioning is what we're trying to accomplish with these functional range conditioning techniques. So for the hip, we can accomplish this in several different ways. I'm going to show you quadruped, which is tabletop position. And this is one option, but there are certainly more. So if we're gonna set up in table for our hip cars, I'm gonna get my upper extremity in a line, and I'm gonna get my lower extremity in a line. And whether you are in table or standing or some other variation, the flow is still pretty similar. So I am going to pick my right foot up and flex my toes. Draw my knee up towards the nose, but across towards my left wrist. Some diagonal action going on here. All right, so I'm pulling the knee towards my nose and then across towards my wrist. Then I'm gonna open the knee up towards the side, keep the toe flexed. Think fire hydrant, okay? I know you're thinking it. Then we're gonna turn the knee downwards as the heel comes up, so we're working into hip extension. Now we're gonna bring the knee back in towards the center line of the body, one rotation. All right, reach that heel back up towards the sky. Feel the glutes turn on, then rotate so the knee comes up and the ankle comes down. Work our way over that fire hydrant, draw the knee across the body, and back to start. So here we are, real time. This is gonna be our hip car. And that's it. So we go forward, we go back, and we find those points in that rotation that feel maybe a little bit sticky or a little bit harder to control. And then when we design our mobility programs, we look at what we feel in those CARS exercises, and then we tailor the techniques or what our treatment strategy might be. So CARS are wonderful for daily work. All right, so if we make it a part of our routine in the morning or in the evening or before we wake up, we do those every day as our maintenance. It's not necessarily the treatment, but it's a wonderful strategy to really condition the joints, keep them healthy, maintain your range of motion, and keep things feeling good. So good luck with the CARS. If you have any questions, shoot me a message or drop one in the comments below.